Hello, everyone, and welcome to the End of Time Abridged. This series will be just every session of the End of Time cut down to a maximum of 30 minutes and just a lovely smash cut of everything that is to come. There will be this version, which is just the End of Time sessions cut down into a much easier to take chunk. I'm also going to be producing a commentary version where I kind of go over the little insights that I have, what went wrong, what didn't go wrong, what should have happened, what didn't happen, like when things went off track and whatnot. And I'll have a link to that in the video and in the description. But as far as here goes, sit back, relax, and enjoy the End of Time Abridged. What did you choose for a character so far, Behold?
Excellent. Let me set the scene for you.
Okay.
Blue sky, white puffy clouds, green rolling hills. A herd of sheep, is grazing on the hill, watched over by a simply clad half orc. He's approximately 6.5 feet tall, 300 pounds, kind of a big boy. He, placidly and calmly watches the sheep, and he has no real ambition in his life other than to enjoy life. He is married to a young half-elf woman. He knows both of his parents, is on relatively good terms with them, and enjoys the simple life.
That's rare for a D&D character. Actually likes
It
his
is.
parents.
A simple
Yeah.
life. What?
Simple life, too.
Yeah.
I like it.
Named by his orc raider mother. He is Madman Mega.
Nice.
And does his best to not live up to the name. However, when he gets mad, he gets really mad. Doesn't have any trouble defending his flock, so to speak. He is a barbarian, and the weapon of choice is a simple mace.
Nice.
My character's name is Sprocket Glio, but he goes by Spaguglio.
Spaguglio.
Spaguglio is from a small island that is basically like if you could picture the slums of Brooklyn with mobs and stuff is basically where he's from, and he's kind of got like that accent, that angry fake Italian accent.
Of course.
Spaguglio is 200 years old. He's a rock gnome, so that's like middle-aged for rock gnomes. He's from humble beginnings, and he started work as a plumber. And this is where I'm going to need to know the name of that liquid that I asked you to prepare.
Preparing illicit liquids already?
Yeah.
I know, right?
Wow.
We call it aged fryer oil.
Extra credit for you.
Aged fryer oil.
Correct.
Gross.
So he was working a job where he had to repair some pipes with some aged fryer oil, and there was a very big mishap, and he had a near-death experience, and he decided that maybe plumbing was too dangerous. So he opened a restaurant, and it was very quickly regarded as the worst restaurant in all the land, but he's not one to give up. So he decided to sell his soul to a fiend, and this is how he became a warlock. But he sold his soul specifically to be a good chef and to make his restaurant thrive. So everything he does is for the good of this restaurant, where the reviews are literally written on the stone outside of his restaurant that are all terrible. They're basically just bad Yelp reviews outside the restaurant. But
wow,
that sounds amazing.
Because he has people employed and he's not one to quit, he's not going to let this restaurant fail. So he's adventuring to make money to send back to the restaurant to keep everybody employed.
Wow.
That's more or less Spaguglio in a nutshell.
That's awesome.
I like it.
I do too.
She is a Goliath. Her name is Kiva Fear. And she's kind of a loner. She's kind of been spending most of her time wandering from town to town, city to city, and out in the wilderness, studying the stars. She finds she's like her greatest goal in life is to just uncover the mysteries of the stars and share that world. So she's a little bit airheady, but she does have a lot of like knowledge. She's very much like a sage-like person. So as a Goliath, she stands pretty tall, and she has kind of like grayish hair. She's got like gray flecks and some dark hair. She's a little more mature than most. And she has some Goliath tattoos on her face, some tribal like stripes that go across.
Nice.
And she is just a very humble traveler.
I like it. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ask my barbarian what he does for a living. He says he's a shepherd.
Eric Cochran Rogue. I like it.
I'm excited.
Her name is Crealis.
There we go.
Crealis!
I got it.
I love it.
Crealis, nice.
She's a nervous bird.
Oh.
At some point, I'll figure out what exactly she looks
I'm
like.
already determined to protect her with my giant self.
I feel like, in terms of like what flavor bird, I'm feeling something like a pygmy owl.
I like it.
I love it.
A little bit. I went with the far traveler background because I feel like she's just very far from home. I imagine. Okay, so things are coming together. I don't know much about the world, so you tell me if like any of this just doesn't
sure.
work. But I feel like she ended up as an egg. Just the egg traveled very far from home, and so she was like hatched without anyone really around, and so everything is terrifying when you're trying to survive on your own from the time you are born, right?
Right.
And apparently Aarakocra only lived to be like 30.
Yeah,
Like,
they
Oh, I
die
didn't
super
realize
young.
that.
Yeah.
they mature by
Oh,
3
no.
and they live until they're 30. So
Yeah.
Oh no, so you're just a little baby.
yeah. And so it's just a matter of like there's this just which maybe we should talk at some point now or later
Sure.
regarding like languages known, because if this is the case, then she doesn't know Aarakocran or Auran.
That's true. She wouldn't
It
know
would be whatever
normal.
is
Yeah.
around.
Probably just common.
Well,
Yeah.
common, and then whatever else, and we'll figure that out.
Did she grow up near any civilization, or did she just pretty much go?
I imagine so. So. I feel like
I mean, there's like a tiny, adorable owl. Someone's gonna try and take her and help her at least a little bit.
Yeah,
I imagine.
and I feel like the area maybe Aarakocra aren't known or
Okay.
like not well,
I can
and
go with
so
that,
it's
yeah.
like, oh, there's this bird, and then wait, they're getting a little bigger than birds normally get, and they're
They can
speaking,
talk.
they're actually communicating, and so this is like definitely a if you will fish out of water sort of experience where no one knows where she came from.
Right.
Oh no.
And
I
so
love
once she's
it.
able to, she just starts to like, well, I'm just gonna, okay, bye. I don't belong here. Bye.
Right.
And has been like traveling for a few years on her own, just getting by, getting around, trying to figure out what she is and where she's from.
Nice. I can work with that. Since we're all set, let's all get a little bit of backstory on this wonderful world that everyone is part of. So, you are all, I mean, at the moment, you're all kind of spread apart. Alara, which is going to be where you're going to be going, is actually the last discovered continent on the planet, called the Land Out of Time. Guys, together. We start with Spaguglio.
Oh yeah.
So, zoom in on you. You're in your struggling restaurant with you. You're in a struggling restaurant and kind of having a hard time. You have a couple employees. One of them, Giovanni, he's your right-hand man. Spaguglio! I found it! I found the secret.
What?
I found what I've been looking for, the secret ingredient. Let me just say, it came to me in a dream that it is in Alara. Trust me, though, it's for real.
Again with these dreams?
Now, to be fair, Giovanni has had many dreams, and none of them have led you astray so far. A group called the Horizon Walkers are recruiting us, or recruiting people for free to go to Alera. I say we piggyback on that, get over to Alera, and then do our own thing. Beehole, or Madman Mega. Next, we have you. You're kind of chilling out, watching your sheep and everything, doing what you do. And one of your shepherds kind of comes up to you and is like, hello, Beehole. Hello, Madman. I have a message from your wife. She would like to talk to you. I recently found out that my sister, who lives in Alera, is in a lot of trouble. And I owe her a great deal. She helped me out when I was younger. And she was always there for me. And I would like you to go and try and help out my sister, if at all possible, for the family.
Anything for you, sweetie.
Okay. Could need your help, called the Horizon Walkers. They are currently recruiting, and I think that's a really good way to get to the continent. Apparently, what I've been able to glean, I actually talked to one of them today. They are going to be helping out the elven community on Alera, which is where she lives. So I'd be very grateful if you do this. As Kima is writing down the constellation, she's noticing something kind of interesting in the patterns. Something that she hasn't really ever seen before. Like, it's distressful. Other druid, you don't normally see other druids, but there is just one other druid kind of comes running up to you where they might know that you're looking at your stars and is like, Kima, I'm very sorry, we don't normally try and bother you, but are you seeing this right now? Do you see these horrible figures in the sky?
I do. It's terribly distressing. I've never seen the sky this way.
I know, it's crazy. I think we need to go talk to another druid, maybe try and get some of the more members of the circle and talk about this. And one of the young druids specifically that came to talk to you was like, I actually also saw in the stars the name Alera pop up. Now, that's very odd because as far as we know, Alera's been doing okay, but maybe something bad is about to happen to Alera. And everyone starts like saying, well, yes, maybe it is. Maybe we don't know.
Just like calmly and just like announce that I will go to Alera and investigate this matter.
Group called the Horizon Walkers that you should be able to join. They're a little. Last, we have Crealis. Let's say you have just found a new group of people. You're very timid around them, but they see an adorable little owl and they're like, hey, let's try and help this owl. A long time ago, and war, and the word Alera pops up, and the word Horizon Walkers pop up, and you're just getting these little tiny bits and pieces from this conversation. And what you can kind of put together is that he was once a member of the Horizon Walkers who maybe was with your parent, maybe knew your parents at some point. You don't know because it's still little bits and pieces, because they're also talking kind of fast and mildly angrily. The tone increases and decreases at a rate that it can get a little bit confusing. And so like the conversation kind of dies down, and she turns to you and says, I think, do you want to know where you come from? Do you have any desire to know that? Because we might be able to help you.
If we can find where it is, yes, that would be nice. Yeah.
I think we can. We know of a way. How useful are you with does she? Do you carry any weapons on you at all?
How useful are you?
How useful are you? Such a big question.
And if you happen to know how to use the sword, I believe you can join the Horizon Walkers. They're looking for recruits. Bound for the Forgotten City.
Long.
We're gonna call it the Forgotten City because it's ironic, because it's the main city. Rex, you're boarding the ship to get to Alera from the Forgotten City.
He's like, so let me get this straight. If I sign this paper and I become a horizontal warrior, you're gonna help me find
the person looks a little bit confused, but it's like the Horizon Walkers, and
I
actually
said-
point. while I open up this document. A tall female wood elf with pale white skin, long silver hair closely, long silver hair, kind of on the messy side with a little bit of ponytail in the end, wearing a see-through eye patch, which looks kind of interesting, a long, flowing, intertwined black and white ranger's cloak, studded leather armor, studded leather pants, a quiver that looks like kind of a bag of holding, if you know what that is, with some runic markings on the back of it, and the bow, and a bow on her back that's a little bit ornate, kind of comes up, holds the hand of the recruiter, and is like, I don't know why they have you guys signed these. This is... Hello, my name is FaZe. I am the leader of the Horizon Walkers. This page... Sorry, and she kind of goes to a whisper, and she kind of like goes up to you. She's like 6 feet tall, so she like kind of gets down and is like, sorry, what were you saying?
Shut up.
Oh, heads up so everyone knows this is pretty much the 4 people you'll be working with. No, specifically, and she does look at you, Krialis, again. So no worries, it's not going to be
anxiously at very large people.
Yeah. So she's trying to make herself as
Kima
small
is
as possible,
very
but
tall.
yeah. Everyone else is very
Visibly
tall.
unimpressed that I have to work with other people.
Of course.
I have never seen a bird carry a sword before. That's incredible.
Well, you will all see things that you may never have expected to see in your entire lives. She kind of leans over to Mega and whispers in Mega's shoulder, I wouldn't point out much about her. She seems very timid. That's one of the things I was told. Try and make sure that she feels invited, but don't make her feel scared, please.
Gotcha. He'll look right at Krialis. I'm sorry, I didn't notice you.
FaZe just kind of like puts her hand in her head and shakes a little. Do you want to join?
You guys all like to talk a lot, and I listen to about half of the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Oh, okay.
And about half of those actually get committed to memory, so... We're
sure.
looking at like
I guess
if my math is right.
I probably wouldn't describe it as an army, as like just I guess maybe an army. It's a small group. We're a very small group. Whenever I think army, I think of like massive. For those of you who don't know, the Horizon Walkers are kind of the scouts. We are the first deployment of the Forgotten City, name TBD. Another very powerful being that we don't know a lot about is kind of essentially wreaking havoc on the other half. So the way Alara is it's like a horseshoe with the Alaran city in the center, which is the capital. You have half of it. It's really in a lot of distress. It's actually terrible when I think about it. And she kind of like gazes off for a little bit, and then she kind of snaps back to it. Half of it is under attack by a resurrected dragon, and half of it is under attack by a... Well, we don't know. It's just a figure cloaked in shadow. Kind of a mixed group of people that'll be kind of leading certain militia army against the shadow. Militia groups, not militia army. But that is a ways from now. Our plan is to have you guys get dropped off in Alara, go to Alara, and then Greg here. I'm going to go off and probably have to do some other things, but Greg here will kind of show you the ropes. He'll teach you how to do things, kind of get you introduced to the Horizon Walkers.
Listen, you've done a lot of talking, and my heart really goes out to you. But I don't understand how any of this is affecting the service of the restaurant. We've been waiting for like an hour and a half.
That's a great question. Greg, would you like to go grab some food? Actually, what does everyone want? She hands you a menu of various meats and cheeses and different alcoholic beverages and fish, because it's also a port city. We're just trying to stop a pretty terrible evil. But once again, and I cannot stress this enough, we will not be throwing you at that evil. we will be specifically training all of you. Tomorrow we will be setting out for Alera. We'll do like it's just 2 days boat ride, so we can go over, basic combat and whatnot, so that everyone makes sure everyone can like swing a sword essentially